Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Robot Combat Randoms. Last time, we did a pre-show tier list for the Mechmania competitors, and this time I'm taking on a bigger task. I'm going to try to do a tier list of all of the reboot BattleBots. Gotta be more than 100 of them. So, let's get going. To begin, we have the World Championship 5 competitor Aegis, whose armor was made out of Kevlar, and it got so thoroughly destroyed by fusion, it had to forfeit the rest of its qualifying fights. Solid D-tier machine. Now here we have the Indian and Canadian collaboration, Adam 94. Though it looked quite promising on the surface, Adam also did very little in World Championship 5. I believe it failed to win a fight. Now here's a more famous, but still quite poor quality robot, Axe Backwards, known for getting its giant wheels ripped off, and sometimes its body ripped in the middle. Great start we have here. It's not changing. Axolotl was an underwhelming college machine made to fill in spots opened up by teams dropping out due to the pandemic. And it fought about as well as you'd expect. Its most notable moment is when Ribot rammed right into it and absolutely went flying. D tier. Okay, another underwhelming machine. Bad Kitty. The World Championship 2 competitor I'm sure most of you forgot existed. It lost, and then it lost its more famous Rumble with 2 other robots. I can't even remember who it fought. It did that poorly. Bale Spear. A pneumatic axe. Pneumatic spike. Pneumatic axes are fine. A pneumatic spike in the 2010s. I'm face-palming. Okay, here is a machine that won't go in the D tier. Banshee. Sure, it struggled off the start in World Championship 7, but it's done some pretty impressive stuff in the Proving Grounds, and I think it is a C-tier robot. Banshee is good, it has potential. Now right back to the D tiers, with Basilisk. Now, unlike quite a lot of the D tiers, this one had 2 appearances, World Championship 2 and World Championship 3. Where it did next to nothing, the flipper hardly worked. Battle Royale with Cheese. This robot was fun, but it didn't do anything, didn't win fights. Another D-tier machine. I don't think is it called Battle Saw? Have I forgotten this robot's name? Have I forgotten its name? Oh my. Well, that just means it's a D tier. It's Battle something. Oh man. Beta. Beta's a good robot. Despite having a very sporadic record of appearances, World Championship 2, 5, and 7, it has always done well for itself, being one of the most powerful hammer bots in BattleBots. Big Dill is a C tier. Now, Big Dill has struggled. It was a reserve twice, World Championship 6 and 7, but in World Championship 7, it got to fight in the main competition after Doom failed to pass safety. It won one fight, and it won its fight against Bloodsport Vengeance of Vegas, too. And, it's an all-around pretty solid machine. I think it also won a fight in World Championship 5, its debut year. I think it's a solid C tier. Bite Force won the Giant Nut 3 times. 4 seasons, 3 Giant Nut wins, only ever lost was to Chomp. Bite Force's an S tier. Absolute legend. Back to the D tiers, we have Black Ice. The roadblock that Tombstone beat up. In fact, it was such a boring fight, it didn't get televised. They just dumped a Tombstone fight on YouTube. That's how boring this robot was. Alright, Black Widow. I don't remember much of this machine. I just remember Scorpios beating it with its flaming claw, which says a lot. D tier. Black Dragon has the second longest streak of not being knocked out, second to Bite Force. They won the Desperado in their debut year. Black Dragon is a solid A tier machine. I'm not sure if it's a contender to win, but it can go far. Solid robot. Now, here we have Blacksmith. This was going to take me a moment to think about. Debut season in Season 2. Did well, had that famous fight against Minotaur. Season 3 was a bit of a disappointment, or World Championship 3, I should say. World Championship 4 made the tournament, missed 5 due to COVID, and then World Championship 6, it had its new powered hammer, with the spinner and the hammer, and it did better, but it needed some time to fix out the bugs. It didn't come back for World Championship 7, so I'm not sure really how good that design was in the end. I think it's a very solid B tier Blacksmith. It's a good robot. It just never quite had that damage to it. When it got the damaging weapon, it just didn't have enough time to get it to work. Now here we have Blade. I think Blade's a C tier. It's a weak C tier, but it's still a C tier. It's better than all the stuff down here. It won a fight, and it lost quite a few. I was disappointed by Blade. It blew stuff up in King of Bots, or Clash Bots, whatever it was called. It's a good robot. It just didn't quite do it in BattleBots. Here we have Blip. Blip did very well in its rookie season, World Championship 6, making it to the round of 8. It was not able to do quite as well in World Championship 7, but it's still an A-tier machine. I expect more things to come of it. I mean, it's Blip. Look at it. It's unique, it's powerful, it's got eyes. Nothing not to love. Here's Bloodsport. A tier. Bloodsport goes in the A tier. It's had its ups and downs. Its most recent version has a thing about its head catching on fire, which is humorous. Has a lot of power. It beat Endgame in Season 5. You know, it's a powerful robot. Just needs a bit more reliability. Bombshell's a B tier. I don't know how it was the World Championship 2 runner-up. How did it make it that far? World Championship 3, it made it to the round of 8 by controversially winning the Rumble, and then managing to beat Tombstone. And then World Championship 4, everything went downhill. I don't think it won a fight that season. Bombshell's a B because of its early successes, but it's kind of a weak B. Yeah. Breaker Box is in the C tier. Nightmare was better. At least he beat Falcon. Bronco's S tier. If you ignore World Championship 4, Bronco was amazing. Then the wheels just came right off the bus in World Championship 4. Didn't win a fight. And after showing up for Bounty Hunters next year, that was that. But Bronco's is a real legend. It has a toy. It's one of the Destructathon show bots. True legend. Brutus is a B tier. Kind of just forgettable. Good, but forgettable. And our second row goes to D tier with Bucktooth Burl, the Canadian machine, which I bet several of you forgot existed, because it was underwhelming. Captain Shredderator goes in B, only because of its season World Championship 5 and 6 performances, where it did good. It beat Tombstone once. Yeah, sure, it was probably Tombstone's fault for losing, but that's still something. Captain Shredderator is a legend, and it has had its moments. Chomp's a C tier. Only robot to ever beat Bite Force, and the Walker, despite not being the most efficient design, is fascinating. How it was kind of like two robots, the turret and the legs attached, and how it walked around and went bang. It was cool. Watch the Gamma 9 fight. Cromflaw got executed by Bronco. He hit him with the spinner. The spinner fell into Chromefly, ripped out its guts, and then Bronco threw it and balanced it on the wall. Kronos is C. 2 underwhelming seasons. I guess it beat Copperhead. Not much there. Claw Viper is a B, but it could. I think Claw Viper might be an A. Its first two seasons, World Championship 6 and 7, no, 5 and 6, were not stellar. But World Championship 7 and its Proving Grounds victory over Minotaur were stellar. I think Claw Viper is a real rising star. Cobalt's also an A tier. Cobalt destroyed Duck, destroyed Ghost Raptor. Cobalt is an amazing machine. So much power. Got those great forks. It's just a wonderful robot, Cobalt. Throughout its 3 seasons, World Championship 4, 6 and 7, missed 5 because of the pandemic. It has had many highlight reel moments. Complete Control would be much higher for Comedy Central BattleBots. But in the reboot, it's only a C tier. Its most famous moments are the Ghost Raptor net, which it lost that fight, and the warhead ripping into it and it lighting on fire. It also lost that fight. Complete Control, I think, did win some fight at some point, and it is still iconic enough to get it a C spot. Copperhead's an A tier. Made the semifinals in World Championship 7, has been an all-around solid machine across 4 seasons, always been a big hitter with some good reliability. Counter-Revolution had tinfoil armor. The Creepy Crawlies were fed to Sonomayachi. Daisy Cutter's boring. And Lightning Round is over with Deadlift. Deadlift's a D. Can I put Deadlift in C tier? I have to think about that. I wouldn't call it a bad robot, but it just never quite had that oomph to it. I don't know. I think Deadlift can make a weak C tier. I think it's a similar level to Complete Control. Death Roll's an A tier. From the World Championship 2, we don't talk about that. All right. World Championship 4 made the semifinals, and World Championship 7. Okay, you come back after missing 2 seasons. Thank you, pandemic. You're going to be a bit rusty. Round of 32. I can see it. It's still an A tier. Death Roll's a monster. Speaking of monsters, Deep Six is going in the B tier. Ultimate Glass Cannon. The Ultimate Glass Cannon. So powerful it was banned because it left gashes in the floor. Watch Deep Six fight, especially the Nelly the Ellibot fight. It destroying a purple elephant with a hammer is legendary. Okay, yeah, Defender goes in C. Oh wow, the BattleBots, they're all in C tier. Got lucky and beat Riptide. Lost to Hydra in the play-ins. Give me Whiplash. Okay. Deviled Egg's a D tier. Nothing to see there, folks. Same with Disco Inferno. Jason Bardis. At least he did well in Comedy Central. And your word, Judge. Okay, Doom hardly works. And Doom was a joke bot. Doom didn't pass safety to the last day and only got 1 exhibition. Now, in the Proving Grounds, it beat a cluster bot, but cluster bots don't work, so I'm not surprised. Double Dutch's blades always fell off, and Double Jeopardy only ripped through Robot's foam. Double Tap got his weapon broken by Beta. Okay, now here's a C tier. Dragon Slayer. Because it's a competent design, and I think it did win a fight. Listen, it's not the best robot out there, but it doesn't belong in the doldrums, which is D tier. I think it could beat most of the machines below it. Dragon Slayer is a C tier. Speaking of dragons, Dragon King's a D tier. Sorry, but those blades do not cut. Dragon King is a beautiful robot, but it's not a winner. Duck's a B tier. Duck in Season 3, World Championship 3 and 4, did very well for itself. It was a little bot that could, but I think the World Championship 6 performance just holds it back, because the 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 lifter, the third lifting weapon, the beak that you see here, was so weak. It just kept on getting ripped, like broken. It was, oh, what happened in Season 6, Duck? What happened to you? Emulsifier is a C tier. Bit like Dragon Slayer. It's a robot that has potential. I think Emulsifier has a bit more potential, but didn't really get to show it. It had that close loss to Fusion. I do think it beat someone, but it just didn't make the tournament. Could have done better. Won the Giant Nut once and the Golden Bolt twice. Endgame belongs in the S tier and is one of the modern day legends. Escape Velocity, well, escaped our memories. Extinguisher caught on fire once, and I laughed because that was ironic. Falcon didn't really work. It was so compact. The middleweight version was bigger than the heavyweight version. Those two spinners, there was too much energy going on. It was compact. Foxtrot here was made by Craig Danby, and that's all I have to say. Free shipping, though, is a much better robot. It has been a legend for a long time, mostly because it's a lot of fun to watch. But it did pretty good in Champions 2. It got to the Golden Bolt round of 8, and then was fed to Endgame. But it did good for itself. Fusion is a C tier, mostly because it just catches on fire all the time. And not in the good way. Like, it catches on fire. They have a flaming fusion half the team. Gamma never won a fight. Clusterbots also don't win fights. Okay, Ghost Raptor's a C tier. Mostly because it did well in World Championship 1. Then it got beat up in World Championship 2. Missed 3 and 4, because it got beat up so badly. And then did poorly in 5. And in 6, it got split into, I think, 4 pieces by Cobalt. Gigabyte is an A tier. You might think that's a bit high. But Gigabyte has so much power. Sure, it gets unlucky sometimes and loses fights, and gets lucky sometimes and wins fights. There's so much power, and that it is the best full-body spinner. It's better than Shredderator, so it has to be here, and it is way better than Kronos. Glitch is a weird one. It's not going in C, don't worry. I think it has to be a B. Listen, it had a great first season, and then a terrible second season. I'm just going to average that out and put it in B. Decision on Glitch is still unconfirmed. Grabot didn't do anything. Gruff's a B tier. It used to be unkillable, and then the spinners got stronger, and now it is not unkillable. But it is fun watching the gas tanks go up in flames. Hijinks, I think, is also probably a B tier, but a light B tier. It's a competent enough machine. It's done 3 seasons, but I think it's just, I don't think it's quite good enough. You know, it's one of those robots. Yeah, the B tier has a lot of robots that might just not quite be good enough. Kind of how that goes. Yeah, poor Horizon. It disappointed me. Huge goes in the S tier. It's a runner-up, but a great machine through all its seasons. World Championship 5 and 6 were a bit rough. There was the infamous Hydra stopper attachment, which was a bit of a shame. But Huge is a legend. I think there's a reason why it's in the Robot Combat Hall of Fame. Love you, Huge. Okay, speaking of Hydra, that's also an S tier. Sure, it's not a runner-up, but it's Hydra. It, flipped free shipping 15 times in a fight. I think it was actually a bit more than 15 times. One of the most powerful flippers ever in America. Hypershock is an A tier. When it split Gigabyte, it became a legend. It's been in all the seasons. It's kind of always been on an upwards trajectory, except World Championship 5, which was worse than World Championship 4. But it keeps on getting better. It won the 2022 Remars All-Stars. Hypershock's awesome. Hypothermia is not. Did it win a fight? Yeah, it's hyperthermia. Sorry, folks. It wasn't meant to be. Ice Wave is a B tier, but only because of what happened in World Championship 6. Listen, it's one spot down because it's not invertible. It cannot work on its head. There's no way to get it back on its wheels. And I think that docks it down one tier for me. Ice Wave is still a legend, though. It will forever be the bot splitter in our hearts. Invader is just the earlier version of Gigabyte, and it didn't work as well. It died, and they couldn't turn off the spinner, so they had to let it spin in the arena till the batteries died. Now, Jackpot is a bit of an underdog, but a solid A-tier underdog. Went undefeated in its first 2 regular seasons, before going on to the tournament where it lost, and World Championship 7 was a bit harder for it, but it's still a great robot. Never forget that. Jackpot, it's awesome. Jaeger, well, it's nice that there's a German robot. Jasper also. Look at the... Jasper is much better on the live circuit. I think I put it in a better spot for Mechmania, but on BattleBots, it just didn't have it. Kingpin could barely drive. Okay, here's an interesting one. Kraken. I would call Kraken a B tier, just because in World Championships 4 and 5, it had some good crushing power behind it. The new spinner head and the original crusher, those weren't great. I think Kraken's on its way out, but it's made a nice impact. It might not be the best robot, but I think it can still squeak its way into the B tier. Lockjaw's a legend. Every season. Powerful. It's not. It's gotten more reliable. Not a contender to win, but always a contender to go far. Lucky is a much stronger B tier than Kraken. Like the opposite ends of the B tier spectrum. Lucky has only gotten better over the years, and I expect that to continue. One good Canadian robot. I'm a Canadian. We need one good robot, and that's Lucky. Okay, Lycan, completely forgettable. Now, Mad Catter. You notice I keep on putting them in the C tier? That's because the list is getting so long. Mad Catter is an A tier. Great community college team. The captain's absolutely hilarious. Mad Catter, powerful robot. After World Championship 4, they really got things together. Malice is also, in my opinion, a bit of a rising star. Seems to keep on getting better. Now they have those forks. That really helped it. It doesn't get stuck on its back anymore. Good heavy hitter. Oh, and sorry, I meant to put that in the A tier, not the B tier. Malice is in the A tier because it can beat quite a few of these B tier robots. I'm sure about that. Mammoth. I think Mammoth does go in the B tier. It's creative, it's fun, but it can. When you hit the plastic enough, it starts ripping apart. Like the weapon can rip apart. I think Terratops got like 25 pounds off of Mammoth in a fight once, and that's a lot. Marvin, sorry. The plastic spinner wasn't anything. Mecha Rampage lit itself on fire. Mega Tento's getting C tier because it's legendary, and its captain is now a judge, who's quite a lot of fun to watch her reactions, going robots throwing it in front of her in the glass. I think actually did decent in the season. It's a ladybug sandbox. What can I say? I think Minotaur has to be... what happened? Where'd Minotaur go? Oh, yes. I think Minotaur, D tier. It's never done good at all. Minotaur, it's not like it's a constant contender to win. It's not like it's the most It's not like the best robot who's never won the tournament. Minotaur, totally a D tier. As you can tell, I moved it up to the S. Minotaur's awesome. Actually, the Brazilian robots all around. Quite good. Okay, here we have Mobius. It wasn't updated properly. Mohawk. Cool Mohawk. Okay, Monsoon's an actually good machine, though. I'm going to put it in the A tier. It beat Cobalt. It's a very powerful British spinner. I like Monsoon. It has some good pedigree. It's beat some good machines. Go Monsoon. Shame the pandemic lost us 2 seasons of Monsoon, though. Nearly the BattleBot is just a lot of fun. And the team's fun. I'm going to let that buy slip it into C tier. Nightmare, I think Nightmare is a B tier. Listen, in the reboot, it wasn't what it was in the old days. But it's this scary, memorable machine. It's one of the Destructathon show bots. And it did beat Ice Wave. Just saying. Yeah, so OB Overlord melted. I think Ominous is a C tier. It's a cool design, cool machine. It just didn't do very well. Shame. Yeah, Overdrive's a D tier. It didn't have an identity. Okay, Overhaul's a C tier. I think mostly because of how long it's been around. And thanks to that, it did good in the first year. Hasn't done very well since, but it's kind of iconic. P1's a B tier. It wasn't a lot, but I think it's still one of BattleBot's best front hinge flippers. And that really does count for something. Solid machine. Pain Train. Nah, Shut It Bro will get a good rating. Pain Train can go in the D. It just wasn't all there. Same with Parallax, but hey, they made P1, so they improved. Perfect Phoenix was just a bit too old. Petunia gets the C tier. Thanks to it crushing into Captain Shredder's batteries in large part and lighting that whole thing on fire. Petunia is a cool machine, but, it's not one of the better machines. Can't go any higher than C. Phantom Storm got ripped apart. Plan X was made of tinfoil. Pardon my French, couldn't self-right. Poison Arrow is a C tier, but only because it only had that one good season, and then it became Copperhead. If Poison Arrow had stuck around a bit longer and not immediately became Copperhead, it would be higher. Predator belongs with his brother Foxic, and Quantum is going much higher. Quantum's our best crusher. A tier. Quantum, oh my word, it is the best crusher BattleBots has seen, possibly ever. Radioactive was actually made of plastic. I think this robot was named Ragnarok. I could be mistaken, but I'm happy his captain went back to Team Monsoon, because this robot just wasn't cutting it. Railgun Max is an odd case. It only has one season, but it was a memorable season. Best Chinese robot, it can sit in D tier. I hope we see it again. There's actually a new cat of it circulating. Rainbow is a C tier, because it was okay, but it only had one season. I think it's a bit too good to be in the D tier, but not good enough or memorable enough to go any higher. Rampage is a D tier. It was a nice family robot. I respect it. I know this robot's name. I promise. Okay, I do know its name. It's by the guy who made the Diablo robots. It got beat up by Ice Wave. It's a C tier. It had 2 decent seasons. It's not a D tier. It's not bad. It's just... Oh my word, how did I forget that one's name? Sorry. Okay, here's reality. Reality was... Oh, I'll put it in C tier. It was cool enough. Same with Red Devil. Though it, the time it cut into Witch Doctor's batteries, that was cool. Yeah, Retrograde's a C tier as well. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I think it fits the C tier, Retrograde. Because these robots, I'm sure there's some interchangeability between C and D, but generally, these are the bad robots, and these are the kind of more filler. Speaking of not filler, we have Ribot, who's totally in the A tier. One of the best interchangeable weapon machines. The Undercutter and the Vertical Spinner, both very solid weapons. Ribot is powerful. Don't underestimate it. No wonder it made the top 4 last year. Ringmaster is a C tier. It was a cool machine, but then the team built Duck, and that overshadowed it. Now, Ripperoni is only a rookie. But, okay, it's only a rookie. That's why it's in the B tier. It needs another season before I can put it up in the A tier. But was it a good rookie year? Beat Endgame, even though it freed Endgame, still beat him. And, sure, it went out in the round of 32, but that was just barely the Black Dragon, a very reliable robot. Went 3-1 in the qualifiers. Made the Golden Bolt round of 8. Good job, Ripperoni. Speaking of modern machines, like new machines, Riptide's an 8. You know what? No, Riptide's an S tier. It threw Hypershock in the ceiling. For that, it gets the S tier. Yes, there's concerns about the team and their bad sportsmanship, but the robot itself is incredibly powerful. If there's a Season 8, which I sure hope there is, I can see Riptide winning. I'm not going to lie. It is very powerful. Okay, Rotator. Ooh, another good robot. Rotator's an A tier. Sure, last season was rough, but I think it is one of the best undercutters. It was the most destructive in World Championship 3. Rotator belongs in the A tier, though it's one of the lower A tiers. Rusty, I can't put you in the D tier because you're too funny. So the C tier you go. There you are, Rusty. Sawblaze. Yeah, our reigning champion. Great machine. Got robbed by Razorback. I remember its name now. Razorback in World Championship 2. Has done great things. The best hammer saw. Sorry, Scorpios. But, we'll get to Scorpios soon here. Right now we have Sharkoprion. Mostly because of its design, I'll put it in C tier. Shatter gets the B tier. Good machine, but I don't know, it's never quite done it for me, let's put it that way. Shell Shock's a D tier. I'm sure you forgot it existed. Now, Shred-It Bro started off very rough, and then made a recovery. I think it's a B tier machine. I think there's a lot of potential behind Shred-It Bro. What I saw from it in the Golden Bolt was promising. Very promising. Sidewinder broke apart. And it broke apart fighting Scorpios, our next machine. I think Scorpios, it's also a B tier. It's a strong B tier. It's like the second best hammer saw. It's not quite an A tier, but it's a very solid machine. And that new Scorpios, that CAD that was announced a little while ago, was cool. I want to see that thing built. Here we have Slammo. An oddball machine. Done well in the Proving Grounds, but never done very well in the main series. I think, for now, Slammo has to stay in C. But the new Slammo, I like the design of it a lot. Here we have Slapbox. It's a D tier. It's just too forgettable. Smee's a C tier. Mostly because of its design. Smee didn't win much, but it has a cool design. Now, this machine did win. Sonomachi's an A tier. Yes, it retired a bit early in the run, but Sonomachi's a legend. It has so much power. Sonomachi belongs in the A tier. Sporkanok. Sorry, didn't have that power. Rusty beat you. Starchild hasn't won a fight. Okay, here we have Sub-Zero. High C tier? Yeah, I think Sub-Zero's a high C tier. It just was the flipper that never quite was, Sweet Revenge never got a fight on TV. D tier. Switchback. Oh, man. Okay, so Switchback is, I think, a B tier for now. Because it's had one bad year and one good year. But the good year was quite impressive, and I think that totally makes it deserving of a spot in the B tier. Tantrum, well, it's a champion, so you know where it's going. Do I even need to say it? Tantrum is an S tier. Won the championship. Sure, its defense was weak, but it won the championship. Okay, now we have Terratops. Terratops is a C tier, because we haven't had time to really see what it's made out of. It was a reserve, bit of a mistake. It did good in its reserve fights. It lost to Rotator in the Golden Bolt, and then it kind of shredded Mammoth and Vineyards of Vegas. Potential galore on Terratops. Also, it's promising in robo games as well. Texas Twister is a C tier. It was a decent one-season machine. The Four Horsemen was a multi-bot. Now we have a legend on our hands. A real legend. Tombstone. Sure, it's seen better days, but Tombstone is a champion. Yeah, Tracer couldn't self-right. Triple Crown didn't work. Triton was a bit of a disaster. Ultimo Destructor was a disaster. Ultraviolent was also a disaster. Whew, that was 5 in a row. You know who wasn't a disaster? Uppercut. Who, despite retiring, I think it retired. It missed last season. It's still an A tier. So much power in that uppercut. So much. Now, Rotator might be one of the best undercutters, but Valkyrie might just be better. Solid A tier. Valkyrie and Rotator do actually have a rivalry. They've had 2 fights. I think Valkyrie won both, but they were both great matches. You got split in half, Vanquish. One who's a C tier, kind of like Texas Twister, a decent one-season machine. Warhawk is also a C tier. I mean, they had 2 seasons. One season it did quite good. Such a boring design. I can't put you in the B tier for that. War Easy couldn't self-right. Okay, so Warhead. I think Warhead is a B tier. It did good in the first 3 seasons. It's such a beautiful robot. The dragon's head is kind of awesome. It's one of the lower B tiers. Warrior Clan goes in the C tier because it had reliability issues and, well, it got overshadowed. Oh, Whiplash. Now, Whiplash is one of our it's one of our runner-ups, which I think certainly makes it eligible for an S tier spot. Witch Doctor is a 2-time runner-up. Bet you can guess where it's going. Bet you can guess. It's going in the S tier. Hey, we got 2 rows of S tiers, and I think they really are the cream of the crop. Sorry, Rex. Once again, there's a new cat of Rex floating around, and I want to see it in action. Alright, so here's a Yeti. So, mind me while I go through so many robots to put Yeti as an A tier. Maybe a lower A tier, but Yeti is solid. The Alaskan Assassin is truly an assassin. And Stinger, listen, Stinger, the Killer Bee, retired a bit early for me. So I don't know if I can quite put it in the B tier. But it is a strong, strong C. So that's all of them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. A lot of robots, and if you have any opinions on my placements, comment them down below. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.